Welcome back to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be right back with today's tech tip, but we want to give a shout out to our podcast partners, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports and We Coach, two great organizations that you really need to be a part of. And now let's have a quick word from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support of the podcast. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. They're going to show you how to set up and sell your tickets for athletic events, for school plays and concerts, dances, even graduation. You can find it all at hometownticketing.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor scoring tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and check out their great product and see exactly what they can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to Hudl. Go to hudl.com and check out why 200,000 teams are using Hudl to help their athletes play better. As a football coach, I used Hudl for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Hudl school. Go to hudl.com. 6 million users can't be wrong. Find out how to turn your school into a Hudl school. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com and check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you as an athletic director do your job better. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. They've helped schools raise over $700 million, including our school, and it's so easy. Snap Connect is their multilingual family engagement platform. Snap Store allows you to order custom spirit gear for all of your fans and many, many more platforms. It's all there at onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in forms and registration, but there's so much more than that. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with reminders about policies and physicals and all the forms that come when you have an athlete in the house. Final Forms can help your coaches with attendance and communication. And for you as an athletic director, Final Forms can help with eligibility, with rosters, and all the forms that come across your desk. You know, it's time for you to talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take those next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and find out exactly what Final Forms can do for you. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Go to Gipper.com and tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Use our code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. Create world-class marketing content for your school. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. They sponsor the Athletic Director Toolbox segment of our regular podcast. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com and get started today. And we want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. They are on a mission to help make your school's legacy come to life. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their touchscreen video consoles and their library of templates that are going to help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, you're going to find it at vitalsignswalloffame.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. For our regular listeners, you know, one of our great sponsors is Snap Raise. You can find all about them on onsnap.com. And we've had a representative from just about each of their different platforms, which are designed to help athletic directors do their job better. our guest today is the founder and CEO of Snap, Cole Morgan, and he's going to talk to us obviously about Snap. But Cole Morgan, welcome to Tech Tuesday.
Good morning, Jake. Thank you for having me.
Well, again, we really enjoyed getting to know Snap, the platform. My coaches at the last school I was at used the Snap Raise platform with great success. As an athletic director, I loved it. I knew what was going on, but I didn't have to be involved. And again, it worked. Our parents loved it. It was just great. But I know that Snap is much more than Snap Raise. So before we dive in, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us a little bit of your background, where you were born, where you grew up, maybe some sports background, and all those experiences that led you to found Snap.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, again, thank you for having me, and thank you for having, like you said, all the various different departments on here. We love being a sponsor of the pod. So, and thank you for what you're doing for ADs and coaches all over the country. So I grew up in Seattle, born and raised. My grandfather I was born in Pasco, Washington.
I know Pasco.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. So I was born in Pasco, and my grandfather started the Team Sporting Goods store, or started a Team Sporting Goods store there in the 70s. So growing up, a little guy, I had every basketball, baseball, glove. We didn't have a lot. My family actually didn't have a lot growing up, but I had every form of sporting equipment you could imagine. We couldn't buy a ball rack, so my dad built one for us. Oddly enough, my grandpa gave us all this stuff, but I have a little kid, so I'm thinking a lot about it right now. I just had a little boy. Sorry, I don't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but grew up just loving sports, being intimately involved at every level. I moved to Seattle, where I ended up playing quarterback for my high school football coach, Doug Trainer, who was one of the most important men in my life, one of the most important people. He was a young coach. He was about 27 when he took over our high school program, and I was obviously 14 as a freshman. So he and I have remained close. He's actually almost a brother to me now. I talk to him probably weekly. Ended up playing in the state championship as a high school football player, and we played against Pasco High School. So it was full circle for me. My parents helped start the booster club at my school. My dad helped start the golf tournament. My family was involved in the raffle ticket sales. So it's like this weird combination of like playing sports, loving my coach, being involved with athletics and activities at a young age. I would do ride-alongs with my grandfather when he would go, make sales to ADs like you. I would ride along in his Chevy Scottsdale, 1978. We'd go drop in on coaches in Zilla and Mabton and Sunnyside. So I've just been around it. I like grew up in it. I love it. My parents starting the booster club. I've just been connected to the fundraising thing the whole time. Went and played college football at Washington State. I left the year that Coach Leach came in. RIP Coach Leach. And ended up working in fundraising. I was selling discount cards and cookie dough right out of school. So the way that the company got started was I was selling discount cards I was selling cookies, and I went into one of my high school coaches' offices, and he's the guy or gal that like you just know is in it for all the right reasons. His name is Rob Bartlett at University High School. He was just in it for the kids, but he had a playoff game. He was stressed out. I came by to ball brush his footballs. I had those ball brushes that some people know about, some people didn't. Right. They take the sheen off of a football, so I went in to help tackify his footballs, but he thought I was there to sell him cookie dough during a playoff week. So he actually, in all earnesty, kind of ripped me a new one, the way that only a good coach can, and said, we love it when you're here, but we hate why. You should figure out a way to change it. He said, my kids don't want to sell products, my parents don't want to buy products, and my coaches don't want to manage it. So figure out a way to change it. That led to the impetus of Snap, because growing up in this space that I did, seeing all the love and care that parents and adults have for the kids and the time and effort they put in, I wanted to figure out a way that I could serve them better, because that was my whole intent in getting into fundraising was service. So I called my high school football coach after I came up with the idea for Snap, which is group-based crowdfunding, is the core principle. And Doug Trainer, just like any amazing coach would, if he could, supported his student, and he actually gave me the loan to start Snap. Most people don't know that, but like we didn't have investors to get started. My first investor was my high school football coach, the guy that taught me so much about life and love and team and all that. So pretty cool.
Wow, I appreciate that deep dive, and and very sincerely, a trip down memory lane. I was actually born and raised in the Northwest. Went to high school at Battleground, Washington.
Oh yeah,
So
okay,
so
cool.
I know every single one of those schools in college. One of my friends was from Mabton High
Yeah, there you
School.
go.
So again, those of you that don't know, it's very small towns.
That's
But
small. Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's
no,
small.
very cool. Um, for somebody who doesn't understand, hopefully it's not many, but say we have a new
Yeah.
listener and they just don't understand the different aspects about Snap Mobile, which I believe is the parent or the overarching company name, Snap Mobile. Maybe talk about that general premise, and then maybe quick view of some of the divisions and some of the things that you think really stick out. And again, I love the way that your life, your story is unfolding. You grew up loving sports, that grandfather sporting goods store. I can just imagine going there, whether it was after school or on Saturdays, and it was the biggest playhouse in the world. But
Yeah.
then, growing up in sports, as you said, your mom and dad, helped start the Booster Club. So talk a little bit about, what sticks out for Snap for you, and why athletic directors should buy in. So I think I gave you about 16 different topics there.
Yeah, that's what I'll figure it out. Um, why you should buy in, I'll start there. If I don't know if you should. You know, hopefully Snap is the right program for you to use. So Snap Raise is the core product. We've given back about $700 million to high school athletic directors and coaches across the country. We were built with a service mentality. We try to do everything that's in the best interest of our customers and our kids when they're not looking. So every product we build, every tool we build is built with customer either feedback or intent to make your lives easier. We have a core hypothesis that athletic directors and coaches and group leaders, activities coordinators, got into their roles to support the lives of their students. And they're inundated with mundane tasks that don't necessarily allow them to get to do that. So our goal as a company and as employees and teammates at the company is to build tools and services that make your life easier so you can spend more time with your kids. The Raise product is a group-based crowdfunding platform. Athletic directors, coaches, group leaders, and parents, especially bookkeepers, love the tool because we can't say audit proof. But it helps you raise the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Factually, technically, it's there's statistics that back that up, and I'm sure when you call us, we'll tell you about all those. But also, everything is financially transparent. So financial transparency throughout your organization is critical. And I think every AD and coach knows that. So it also eliminates the need for parents to feel like they have to buy a box of cookies for $20, where only 6 of that will go back to the student, and they just don't want to do it. I don't know what, I don't have to tell you guys that people just don't want to do that. So I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just, I don't want to lie to anybody either.
No, and again, I can speak as an AD who use the product. Our parents just love the simplicity. It worked. It flat out works. And the part you talked about earlier, the transparency and the bookkeeping. We were at a private school, and our CFO, the business office, just loved every aspect of the Snap Raise platform. It's just very cool. And again, bottom line, it works. Also, I'm having a senior moment here. I'm a lot older than you. I can't remember the name of the
You're
person.
39, correct?
Exactly. Thank you. The person that shared the Snap Raise part, they talked about a newer feature where people can actually get their funding before they do their fundraiser. Can you talk about that? Because I think that's probably a one of a kind, isn't it?
It is. It is. So when I say that we're built to serve and meet the needs of our coaches and our athletic directors and our group leaders, it's with the fullest intent. Um, one of the things that we see and that I saw from day one starting in fundraising is that, one, again, let's be honest, people don't like fundraising, right? They just don't, and that's okay. We want to make it as easy and as painless as possible, and I think we do a really good job of that because we're honest about it. But the other issue is that typically you need money for things out of season, and out of season is typically the wrong time to raise money because you don't have your group with you, right? So you don't have the oversight of your team. So we actually allow our groups to, if they have worked with us or would like to work with us, actually draw down upon what we think they'll raise in their season. So you can do this up to 6 months in advance of your season. We will just advance you the money that you need. There's no strings attached. It's super simple. Yeah, I think when I talk about it, it's, people are like, what's the catch? What's the catch? The catch is you have to work with us, obviously. So that way we know we can, get you the money you need and get our money back, of course. But it really is just intended. I saw Coach Trainer reach into his pocket to buy kids cleats. I saw him reach into his pocket to buy kids dinner. I saw him reach into his pocket to give kids bus money. Like, you coaches and ADs do so much for the kids that you serve. I want to build a company that makes Coach T proud and makes your life easier. So we just flat out lend you the money. That's it. It's the whole thing.
And again, I know there's a lot of great programs out there, but I'm not aware of one besides Snap Raise that does that. So and you're absolutely right. Any coach, any AD, if they're in the business, for more than a year, let's say, they've done that. They've gone to their own pocket, and what a great way to as you said, help ADs, help coaches service their kids and provide them with that great sport experience that we're trying to do.
We're also, sorry to interrupt you on that. I know
No,
I
go
talked
ahead.
about like the shoes and the meals and things like that on the coach level, but also for athletic directors that want to help install weight rooms, that want to put billboards in, that want to do bleachers. We're lending out that type of money. We have a few of those out in the wild right now. So we're thinking big. We're thinking on a global level about how we do this. You're probably wondering how we do this. We have really, really amazing supporters. Our investor group today is the group that's behind the Dodgers, the group that's behind the Lakers, the group that just bought Chelsea Football Club, the group that's partially behind Fanatics, and partially behind Vivid Seats and SeatGeek. So they want to be a part of this with us. They want to help us transform the high school landscape.
That's those are some pretty powerful names there. That's good. We'll do this again, but if one of our listeners, I certainly encourage you to do so as someone who has actually used the product. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, find out more about all the different platforms at Snap, or maybe even pick your brain as the CEO and founder, what's the best way that they can do that?
If you want to pick my brain, my email is cole@snap-raise.com. If you want to learn more and actually get into the product, just go to snapraise.com. That's it.
All right, we talked a lot about Snap Raise, and certainly that's where my most of my experience with the platform is. But Snap Mobile is so much more than that.
Yeah.
Looking at it, from that 10,000-foot view, as the founder, and you're working as a CEO, and even looking to the future, what are some, or what have been maybe one or two really cool Snap stories, success stories that you've heard about that you can share with our listeners? Anything come to mind?
Oh my gosh.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
That's a hard one. There's there's a couple that I can think of, and unfortunately I can't remember the specifics, but there was a and they both surrounded uniforms, actually, because like the uniform for me is I mean, you think about kids trying to play their sport or do the thing that they love, and the coach trying to provide a great experience for them, making them feel like a team is part of having that uniform.
Yep.
So there's two things for me. I can't remember. One of them was a special needs cheer group, I think in Florida. So Coach T was a special needs teacher. I'll try to keep it together. Coach T was a special needs teacher, and I actually worked in his class every quarter, every year when I was in high school. I was his TA, and got really close with those kids. And so one of the campaigns that we've run, I believe it was to help a group of special needs cheerleaders go to, I think it was a tournament that they had maybe never been to, or a competition or something like that. And I remember the video. This is a couple years ago. That one was super special. And then there was a middle school basketball coach, and I want to say it was a female basketball coach coaching a boys middle school team, that they didn't have a gym and they didn't have enough money to rent gym space. And I think we helped, and they didn't have uniforms. So they practiced outside because the kids wanted to start a basketball team. And so this teacher jumped on it, and they needed money for uniforms and needed money for gym space. And we helped her raise the money for uniforms and for gym space. And those stick out.
Oh no, absolutely. And I'm sure there are, hundreds more. And for our listeners, remember that Snap Mobile is a variety of platforms that are going to help you as an athletic director do your job better. So now I'm going to, put myself on the spot here and see if I can, remember all of them without my script. Snap Raise is the fundraising platform. Snap Manage, I believe that's the website design program. Snap
registration.
Snap Connect is the multilingual family engagement platform. Snap Store allows you to order, custom spirit gear for everybody in your program. And I know, a Snap Spend is the secure money management platform. Did I get them all, or I leave one out?
I think you got them all.
All right. Well,
I think.
Well, I should.
Nice job.
Because I talk about them just on every episode. So let's do it one more time. Cole, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, find out more about Snap, or as I said, pick your brain as the founder and CEO, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
You can learn about all of our suite of products, which is the single sign-on solution for athletic directors that exists. Some modern technology. You can learn more about that suite of tools at snapraise.com. There's a great little icon right when you go there, help you understand what it is. You can learn more about the tools. If you want to chat with me, I would love to chat. You want to talk, figure out how we can help, figure out how we can serve, or you want to learn more about early access, which is the ability for us to lend money. You can email me, Cole at snap-raise.com.
Cole Morgan, CEO and founder of Snap. Thanks so much for being on today's Tech Tuesday, and thank you for your sponsorship of the podcast. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys for what you're doing for our kids.
For our listeners, we do this every Tuesday, Tech Tuesday, as part of the Educational AD podcast. Remember, the Zoom recordings of every interview get uploaded to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back next week for another tech tip, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD podcast. We'll see you next time. Once again, we want to thank you for listening to Tech Tuesday, and we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We want to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content. I want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com and get your school set up to start selling tickets online. We want to say thank you to Hudl. Go to Hudl.com and check out their mobile apps, their smart cameras, the analytics. Turn your school into a Hudl school. Go to Hudl.com. We just got done hearing from the CEO at Snap Mobile. Our coaches use Snap as a fundraiser, and it was just fantastic, but they are so much more than that. Go to onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com for more information. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. They sponsor the 80 Toolbox segment of our regular podcast. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your players or your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com and start mining that data that's available only when you do a survey. We want to thank Final Forms for their support. Final Forms is the leading platform for registration and forms. And you can find out all the things that they can do for your program by going to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake. We also want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com if you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards and your school's Hall of Fame. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. And we want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards not only generate income for your department, but to create the ultimate game day experience. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. One more time, thanks for listening to Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.